The science forum theme on innovation and research, or science for humanity. But I got lucky to meet Sido, who just gave a talk. Sido is a software developer at the NRF-SARAO, but I will allow her to introduce herself. But what I like a lot about Sido is that she was funded by NRF throughout her research, and now she's absorbed by one of the NRF facilities. But before we take it further and I over-explain myself, Sido, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Sydil Kupa. I am currently a software developer at SARAO, and I'm a former Basa student of the NRF. And during my master's research, I worked on applications of artificial intelligence in radio astronomy images.
Okay, so Sido, can you please tell us what inspired you to do or focus on machine learning and its application on astronomy?
So I have a background in actuarial science and statistics, and that, like, the core of statistics is looking at data and analyzing the historical patterns that you can come up with from the data. And here comes a new field of data science, machine learning, where now you can use data to predict the future, the near future, make decisions, data-driven decisions, cluster data, classify data, and I was more interested in going in that route, and that's how I landed myself with a degree in computer vision, which is machine learning.
Okay, so because we're now where you are now, but I want you to take us back. Where are you coming from? What's your childhood background, your journey in academia?
Journey in academia. So during high school, I was a mathematically inclined person. Okay. I was really good in mathematics. So I went to the University of Pretoria to study actuarial science, which was tough, but I managed to finish the degree. And then I got a winter school opportunity at the CSIR when I was doing my third year. And that's actually what changed or propelled me to be where I am currently, because they were starting out a new platform or a new program called Decide, where they were trying to impact young students into getting to know about data science. And from there, I never looked back. I took the stream of data science, and I knew that I wanted to do my master's or honors in data science related fields.
Okay.
And from there, I got the opportunity of being funded by the NRF to do my master's. And I was really precise about what I wanted to do with my master's, So I spoke to a supervisor and I told them that I'm really interested in machine learning and I need data from MeerKAT.
Okay.
So I'm interested in machine learning. You have data in MeerKAT. What can I do? And that's how we came up with the research project that I worked on. Okay. And it was an interesting project. And now I'm done with my master's.
Okay.
Right after that, I got absorbed by SARAO, where I currently work as a software developer.
Okay.
And I lead a machine learning team within the software team where I'm looking at the metadata that we have of the telescope and trying to use that to optimize the usage of the telescope.
Okay. So interesting and inspiring. Can you break down your master's research? Every research has a problem.
Yeah.
Normally there's this problem and we are proposing that we will try to solve it like this. So there'll be an aim and findings. Can you take us through your master's research?
Okay, so with the advent of MeerKAT telescope, because of its sensitivity and its resolution, the images that they produce are much clearer than ever before. Okay. So the content that we see in the images is clearer than before, and we have regions that are clustered. So if you take an image of a patch of the sky, the radio sources that you see are clustered. There's thousands and thousands in an image. So now it becomes a problem for astronomers to do the pre-processing of that data before they can dwell into the celestial sources inside the image and do science. So I was doing the pre-processing step, automating the process of finding sources within an image, drawing a border around it. I mean, there'll be thousands and thousands in an image. So I had to segment that radio source, draw a border around it, and later on, if I had continued, I would have created a catalog where I take each and every source, put it into a catalog, name it, and put the location,
Okay.
the array and deck. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was so interesting. So I did ask her that, did you publish? And she said, no, I'm not a published researcher, but I'm an award-winning researcher. Can you please tell us about your recent award?
My recent award.
Yes.
So last year at the Deep Learning Indaba in Ghana, I won an award for the Grace Allel Williams dissertation, Master's Dissertation Award.
Okay.
And that is just recognition for my thesis or my master's research, working on a world-class instrumentation and producing such results. I mean, the data that I was working with, MeerKAT data is quite complex.
Yeah.
It's not in machine learning, there's this example that they usually use of cats and dogs, like classifying cats and dogs. That's an easier task to do. But when you get to MeerKAT images, the resolution of the images is not as clear as cats and dogs. You will be classifying per pixel as opposed to when you're classifying cats and dogs.
So Sido is not a what do we call that if you publish a published researcher, that's what you said, but she did get recognition and award on her work. Can you please take us through that?
Okay, so last year at the Deep Learning Indaba, I won an award for the Grace Allel Williams Master's Dissertation program, where they were awarding master's graduates for the great work that they do. And because I work on a world-class instrumentation and I produce results that are really beneficial in the real world, I won that award. And it was granted by the Deep Learning Indaba. So it was just for recognition of the work that I did in my master's.
Yeah. So, getting absorbed by the national research facilities can be challenging to some people. Not everyone gets to be absorbed. Can you share with us how did that happen with you?
So I was in the graduate program at SARAO, which is a 3-year program where you're studying at the same time working. So I would use some of my time to work on projects that is within the organization. And I think I was doing quite well in terms of delivering, although the work-study balance was not balancing, but I think I did well in terms of the progression that I did in the projects that I was working on for the organization. At the same time, I completed my master's within the 3 years that they allocated. So that's also a thing that they consider.
Okay. Let me take you back to machine learning. How do you explain the importance of machine learning to someone who's not within your field of study or to the general public?
Machine learning is more statistics, but it's not looking at it does look at historical data, but it also looks at predicting the future or predicting the near future. It's important because with machine learning you can make data-driven decisions, and it can help us to move away from manual processes where you automate stuff, and for classification of huge amounts of data. I mean, we are in the 4th Industrial Revolution. The amount of data that we're getting is huge. Talking about the SKA or MeerKAT now, the amount of data that we are getting is it's huge. So having to deal with that kind of data or some data analysis on that data, we need ways or tasks that can be automated. We need automatic ways of dealing with that data, and that's where machine learning can help us. Yeah.
So we know that the government tax is paying a lot of money to support your research and the telescope. So we're saying science for humanity. How does this telescope or MeerKAT or astronomy as large influence the society?
That's a very interesting question that I don't actually have a direct answer to,
Okay.
but I think I can try to explain or give my opinion. So when I look at astronomy, we are helping astronomers to gather data to help us understand the universe better. And I think that's very important because as we are sitting in this room, it's important for us to know what's inside the room, the surrounding.
Yes.
And on a larger scale, it's also important for us to know what's in the universe. And I think a lot of people in general are looking for instant gratification of what can we get by understanding the universe right now. We want answers now. And this kind of topic is not a topic where we get answers now. We need some time to answer certain questions. And on top of that, we have byproducts that we have while trying to understand the universe. And I think some of the examples that I can give is how Wi-Fi came about.
Yeah.
It was because of astronomy studies that Wi-Fi was discovered. And Wi-Fi now plays a very important role in our society. I mean, GPS is one of them. And another one that is light, but I like using it, is how they use properties such as how galaxies float in the interstellar medium. They use it, they float because of helium, and that they use that property to fill balloons for them to float.
Yeah.
That's a simple one, the simple thing, but it's because of such properties that now we can apply them in real world. But what I can say is that people are looking for direct impact and impact right now, but sometimes that's not what we get. It's a longer term. And what else could we discover along the way as we are studying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are yet to see.
That is so true. So far, leading the machine learning team at SARAO, what has been exciting for the team or for you? This is new for you.
I think the most exciting thing is that there has been data that has been collected ever since the MeerKAT was commissioned, or once it started operating. Data has been kept. I think someone thought, okay, it's very important for us to keep the data, the metadata of the telescope, but they didn't have a plan at that time of what they're going to do with the data. So now my manager was like, there's a lot of data and you have the skills, so how about we see what we can do with the data. And keeping in mind that we need to optimize the usage of the telescope because we spend billions and billions of rands building this telescope. So we need to make it to be as optimal as possible. And the metadata that we have the metadata that is stored that we have could help us get there. So working with that data is exciting because it's complex data. It's data that has never been touched. We have to do a lot of cleaning, a lot of data mining and get our hands dirty. So that's exciting for someone who loves working with data. And the amount of data that we're working with also never worked with such data, that amount of data. So it's quite exciting to work with such a quantity of data.
Okay. So looking at the future, where do you see yourself or where are you projecting to be?
I want to see myself being an expert at what I do. But more importantly, I think I see myself being at a position where I would be writing policy for AI.
Okay.
I mean, AI is something that just came about. There's a lot of policies that we still need to figure out. And I want to get so comfortable that I'll be in that position to be helping draft policies for AI.
Okay. One last question. What would you like people to remember you of out of all the contribution from high school to where you are now? One thing you'd like, when they say Sido, what is that one thing you'd want them to do? Don't say vacations.
You took it out of my mouth. Okay, I'll try to say something else.
Yes.
I think a lot of things that people don't actually know about me because of how I project myself is that people don't know that I'm a hard worker.
Okay.
And I think it's because I'm light in a lot of things. So on a normal day-to-day, you'll think that, oh, girl is just a random girl. But I'm a hard worker. I work hard, and that's what I want to be remembered for.
Yeah.
The amount of effort that I put in my work.
Okay. Oh, remember that you've end everything that we see you doing. Any last word or anything you'd like to add before we end our session?
A word of encouragement maybe to
Okay.
the young people that would want to join a national facility such as SARAO. Being affiliated with such a world-class instrumentation observatory is quite an honor. The skill set that is inside the organization is quite vast, and the skill set that is also being taught by the amount of data that we're collecting, I mean, from the science and the engineering is quite good, and even for future purposes, it's something that we're not only looking at skills for now, but skills of the future. So I would encourage young people to join our facility, and they will gain a lot. They'll gain a lot.
Thank you so much, Sido. That was Sido, a software developer from SARAO.